So my buddy had this older brother who would kick your ass if you touched his guitar, and I'd hear him playing through the door, and I was just dying to get just to see what would happen just touching a guitar, electric guitar. So my buddy was selling his guitar for $10. So I bought my first guitar for $10. Bought my first guitar amplifier for $40. So for $50, I was off to the races.
Wow, that's not bad. So how did you learn then?
I learned just by sitting with my guitar and fumbling around. I started playing with my thumb because I was a little kid. I was 10 or 11 years old. I learned scales just by coming up with my own stuff on the guitar. I had one guitar lesson that my parents took me to, and the guy made me buy the Mel Bass Book 101. Silent Night, I think, was the first song he tried to teach me, and I was like, this is not fun. Will you teach me some Metallica or whatever it was at the time? And he said, you'll have to grow into those, to those songs. So I never went back, and I just sat at home. I'm glad I did, because even though I had been playing guitar for 10 years, my brother still said I sucked and couldn't play a song from start to finish. I developed my own style, my own sound, and I think having the patience to get through those 10, 15 years of not sounding good but getting your own sound was I think it was very beneficial for me, because I was just so into it. I was so passionate I wasn't going to quit.
So when you were doing that, was that like a matter of just listening to records and trying to emulate what you were hearing?
No, I thought I was so bad that anything I heard on record, I thought there's no way I could do that. So I would just do my own thing. The one thing that I got decent at quickly was downstroke. So I would do if I was going to emulate any players, it was going to be the speed metal guys. So I could.
Well, that's Metallica. Like, I didn't realize you could actually uppick for the first 6 years of playing, because I just did Master of Puppets all down. Like, wait, you can do this easier than that?
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. It was all about the speed metal for me at first. So, that grew on me quick. But as far as like coming up with scales and parts, and that was just experimentation. I remember years into it, I bought a guitar magazine and it showed the harmonic minor scale. I'm like, that's the scale I discovered on my own. That's what I like. That's the sound. So if you give yourself time, you'll stumble upon the theory just from having a guitar in your hands. But you just learn you learn what it is later on when you get more studied.
Well, let me ask you this. As a metal guy, give me 5 records that anyone learning guitar that wants to learn it from the metal approach should listen to that's maybe not obvious. Obviously, Master of Puppets. Obviously, Peace Sells. Like, all those
Ben,
records.
don't answer the question you're asking.
I don't know about, Mark. What should I be learning?
Oh, man. Well, you're going to know. I mean, I think the best metal riff record of all time has got to be Rain and Blood. Everybody knows that record. That's one of the best riff records, for heavy metal aggressive guitar.
Siobhan's like, I do not know that record.
I'm the classical musician in the group, so all this is education
Carrie
for
King
me.
is tantamount to Yo-Yo Ma. How did you not know that?
Fair enough. I learned so much on this podcast, I'll be honest. But go on. Yeah, that's interesting.
I would say, some of the bands that I got into were Forbidden, Testament, Exodus.
We just had Skolnick on our show.
Oh, yeah. It's a good man.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Man. Yeah.
He's great.
But you mentioned some of the bands. You got your Peace Sells is a wicked record for metal. Some Anthrax stuff. Just anything I could get my hands.
Are we talking Belladonna Anthrax? Or are we cool through like the Bush era? Because I like the Armored Saint stuff too. So I gotta tell you, when I'm young enough, where I'm Van Hagar and Armored Saint era Anthrax, where I liked Room for One More and Only, and when Belladonna came back at first, it almost hurt my heart until I realized how awesome he is too.
Well, Fistful of Metal, going back even before Belladonna. Fistful of Metal records got some of them, some mean songs on there.
Before Blaze Bayley or Bruce, there was a Paul Di'Anno.
That's right. Hey, I'm with you though on that one. I loved "If Only Taking You Down on My Head." I thought that was a great tune. That whole record was good. Joey Belladonna, that's another gem of a human being. What a good guy. And I've gotten to spend time with Joey and talk shop, and I've heard him sing some Journey on the Shiprock cruises, and he's just a good guy. He's in it for the right reasons. He loves me.
How about John Dene? Because he's a hometown guy from Shadows Fall. He was on our show. Watching him get to first off, my favorite Anthrax solo is "Breathing Lightning," which is a newer song with John on it. And I can't even believe it. Like, the guy I used to go watch at the clubs is the dude in Anthrax. Like, what do you think about this whole, now that Belladonna came back? I feel like Anthrax is bigger than they've ever been.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Europe, the festivals are bringing bigger crowds than ever. I got to play guitar with Dan Spitz a few times. He's a trip to be able to hang out with. And I remember when I was a kid, my I think my second rock concert was Anthrax. I forget who they were playing. It might have been one of those big Slayer, Anthrax, Metallica. But Anthrax was playing, and I was a little shit kid, and I got up to the front row, and everybody let me go because I was this little kid. And I remember being on the rails, throwing my fist in the air, and Dan Spitz looks down at me and he's like, "Yeah." So I'll never forget that.